Thanks so much for your time. I am Pius Kojobaka. So that big story we are learning, Sunon Asogli Power has agreed to allow government to restructure debts owed them. This means the independent power producer has decided to sign up to the proposed settlement terms for paying the debts. Finance Minister Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam disclosed this during a media engagement in Washington, D.C., USA, however, raised concerns about how Sunon Asogli Power handled the whole debt situation.
I had meetings with Asogli, and we agreed that we will pay. But we wanted them to sign the settlement agreement because this is one of the terms of the agreement. They said, no, we should pay before they sign. But if it is part of the settlement agreement, why should I implement an agreement that has not been signed? And so we communicated this to Asogli, only for Asogli to come and say, they no longer want 30 million, now they want 60 million. And if we don't pay them 60 million, they will shut down. That is why they shut down. Right. And so people behave as if we as a country, we don't know our rights or we don't know what we want, especially when election is closer. Everybody thinks that, look, I can put a gun on the head of Ghana. And so by going ahead to shut down, they acted in bad faith. This is not how partners work together, particularly when it involves financial negotiations. So they shut down. We continue to produce power. I was informed only yesterday that they are ready to sign the settlement agreement. And so we've instructed ECG to go ahead and sign. That should help in normalizing our relationship so we can move on. And so by signing that agreement will also mean that the third IPP is also done as far as the restructuring is concerned.
Joining us now is Elikplim Apesogbo. He speaks for Sunon Asogli Power. Thanks so much, Elikplim, for joining us on Business Live. And as rightly stated by the Finance Minister, you finally agreed to allow government to restructure debts owed you, as rightly stated indeed. What got you to do that, really? And tell us the story behind that.
Thank you very much, Pius. Good evening to you and to your listeners. In the first place, let me say that is absolute dishonesty on the part of our finance minister. There has been so much dishonesty in the whole process on his part. He has maintained a very haughty and condescending character in the whole process, which is not good for a public officer, particularly in the office of a finance minister. I'm not aware when we have agreed to sign restructuring terms with anyone. We are still negotiating. No one goes into a negotiation to lose. It is always a win-win affair. And he has always maintained a position that if you will not accept this, I'm not going to pay you. That is a very disappointing character of a public office holder like him.
Kindly indulge me. I want to understand something clearly now. We rightly heard the minister say that he heard you say, as of yesterday, you've agreed to sign an agreement. Are you insinuating that the minister is lying?
Exactly. I'm not aware. I don't know where he got that information from.
Interesting. So I don't know what happens next, but this is the position the minister is stating.
Well, if he is saying that, let him provide that evidence to the public that, yes, he has been able to reach an agreement with Asogli. And even if we are signing, that what it means is that we have reached a meeting point. But to the best of my knowledge, there is nothing like that. We are not there yet.
So as of the time you shut down, there's not been any form of engagement, whether formal or informal, in relation to your resumption to operations, right?
You know, he's a kind of minister or public office holder who have a posture of, I don't care if you won't do this, if you will not accept my terms. Since we shut down, we've been having some verbal engagements. And he maintained a position that until this thing is done, he is not willing to talk to us, or he is not willing to attend to us. That has been his posture. His predecessor was not behaving like that. He was very decent and very respectful to the investor.
Elikplim, so as you speak now, the operations of Sunon Asogli remains halted, right?
Exactly.
So what will it take for you to resume operations?
You know, we have mentioned our challenge. He has promised on countless times to make payment to Sunon Asogli, but has not honored those obligations or those promises. But today he's saying that somebody is acting in bad faith. What is worse than that? We said that our debt servicing is due. For the first quarter, second quarter, we've not been able to honor those obligations. And so we are ending the year in a critical position that we must do that. Defaulting on these terms come as a cost to us. Give us some money to be able to make repayment of these obligations. We do not want to listen to that.
But how do you go into an engagement of negotiation of that sort when you've not, signed on paper that you want to receive 30% of the agreement? And from the way the minister said, you later came back to tell them you need some 30%, payments to be done, which of course isn't on paper.
That is absolute dishonesty again. In 2023, the end of the year, we requested, there was a similar situation like this. We requested 90 million to service our debts. Out of that, he paid 60 million, remaining 30 million that he promised to pay in February. I don't know, his calendar has not ended February yet. Here we are in October. We've still not received that 30 million. And we are asking, the whole of 2024, you have not made a dime to us. Add 30 million to it. Will you say that is a bad faith? Will you say that is unfair? You are owing me about 259 million. Give me 60 million out of that for us to negotiate about the 2 million. And you are saying this is a bad thing. I don't know his level of understanding of some of these things.
It would be fair for us to have, a fruitful and, of course, not trying to attack his personality. But let's make progress. You are saying that until your negotiation and, of course, government come into the table to sit with you to, iron things out, you are not going to resume operations.
That is not the case. If you put it that way, it will be misleading. We are faced with a challenge. We lack the working capital to resume operation or to continue operation.
Due to debt owed you by ECG, right?
Pardon me?
Due to debt owed by ECG to you.
Exactly. And we have taken diplomatic steps, decent steps to write to you a number of times that this is our situation. I cannot count, but if you desire to know, I can show you the list or the number of letters that we have. Ask me if he has replied any one of them. Is that how we do business? Is that what we call partnership?
All right, Charlie Krim, let's leave it here. We'll follow up from that discussion, of course, get more response from the minister and bring some clarity to the issue. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Apetogbo. It speaks for Sunon Asogli Power there. Away from that, we want to stay within the power sector a while longer because the African Center for Energy Policy is linking the challenges facing the energy sector to lack of effective leadership. The energy think tank maintains that unless leadership issues across the sector are addressed, the sector will still struggle. Ben Boachi is the executive director of ASEP and has been speaking to Joy Business.
Those who are paying and those who are not paying. So government has to take up that cost.
How do you resolve that?
The way you resolve it is to have credible leadership in ECG that have capacity and the will to address the problem. And that's what we have been lacking. We always talk about investment. We need investment. But even when you put in the investment, the situation worsens. So it tells you that the problem is more of leadership and the commitment to deal with the problem than actually money. When PDS came, they didn't put in a dime. They only took the asset of ECG and the people of ECG, and within 2 months, they had more than doubled the revenue that was coming in without doing any investment. It tells you that it was more of an attitude and leadership in addressing the revenue challenges than actually investment. ECG workers who will go to a business has consumed maybe say 2 million cedis worth of power producing things. And instead of paying their bill, they go and destroy the meter. And then they call it abortion meter. And then they give them a new meter. So they don't get to pay the bill. And all these practices, they are known by ECG management, but because they are also more interested in procurement and big contract procurement, they don't follow these basic things. So it's actually management that is crippling the power sector, and then the budget is sacrificed to actually take care of. And that's why we have christened it. I mean, ECG has actually become the galamsey on Ghana's budget.
I want to stay a while longer in Washington, D.C. because the IMF is asking government to be strategic in getting a good deal from commercial bilateral lenders. The country is currently engaging these creditors to restructure some $2.7 billion. Abebe Selassie is Director of African Department at the IMF.
Of course, has gone through a really wrenching period of macroeconomic instability and, decided to move forward with a comprehensive set of reforms. I think these reforms are beginning to bear fruit, and that's the growth numbers that we're seeing. And going forward, really, it's continuing to strike a healthy balance between the continued need to address all the development spending needs Ghana has with avoiding debt sustainability. So that requires, maintaining modest levels of fiscal deficits, going through an election cycle now, avoiding the pitfalls to which Ghana pitfalls Ghana has faced in election cycles in the past. These will all be critical to making sure that, going forward, Ghana can have a healthy macroeconomic situation. Fast progress, which is really, really welcome, but there remains, a significant amount of debt that needs to be agreed on, consistent with the parameters of the program with non-Eurobond commercial creditors, and we hope that progress can be made on that in the coming weeks and months. I think the government needs to stay strong and make sure that it gets the best deal that it can for the people of Ghana, and we hope they do so.
To one of our lead stories, the Association of Ghana Industries has once again registered its displeasure over Ghana's value-added tax structure, describing it as unfriendly to local industries. According to the Chief Executive Officer, Seth Chumakwabwa, the current VAT structure is short-changing business owners. He said the AGI has been engaging government and expects a change soon. He was speaking at the Greater Accra Regional Annual General Meeting.
The system is such that industry or businesses pay beyond the 15% VAT, you pay additional 6%, which is a levy. And there's even a tax on tax element. And that 6% you cannot recover. You have VAT is actually a sales tax. The incidence is not on you, the one collecting it. It's on the consumer. So when you pass it on, you must recover. But you pay 21.9% to government and you only recover 15%. That additional 6% is a huge, huge task. So you've spoken to them and you said the current structure of the VAT system is not conducive for business. And I'm happy that when you read their manifestos, they are all talking about the review of this. So we're doing a lot on your behalf. I think on the BDS front, we are also making a lot of effort to help our small enterprises. Some of you may be aware that we've had a project with GIZ we call the grant scheme, and some of you have benefited from it. Procurement is still ongoing. It's a scheme that is supporting our enterprises to purchase some basic equipment, and it's on gratis. They are just giving it to you as grant. We went through a process to select the members, and quite a number of members have benefited. I know over 60 companies have benefited, and the grant is being provided. So that is a good effort. And we didn't select companies only from Accra, it's across the country.
A reminder, you're still watching Business Live. We are back with more stories. Please do stay. Hello, welcome back to Business Live. Triple Farms Limited, Ghana's foremost aquaculture expert and leading supplier of fresh premium quality tilapia, has been awarded the Fresh Fish Brand at the National Customer Choice Awards Ghana. Marketing Manager Rebecca Avomo Diallo, speaking to Joy Business after the event, said the company will continue to improve on customer service.
We are Triple Farm Limited. We are the first aquaculture company in Ghana. We've been in existence for over 25 years, producing the best fresh tilapia in town. So we are known under the brand gov't Tilapia, and our sizes vary from smallest to biggest. We've been serving the nation all over the country with simply fresh and always delicious tilapia. It means that the work that we are putting in the industry is relevant. It means that a lot of people love our tilapia, and it means that when it comes to tilapia in Ghana, it's nothing but gov't tilapia. So we are really grateful to have won this award today, because our customers mean a lot to us. So we are really, really grateful. You should actually expect more. We are looking at new products that we are working on. They will hit the market very soon. We are looking at products in terms of transformation. You know, it's not always tilapia and banku, tilapia and rice. We are looking at avenues of transforming the fish into more products.
Run of the year goes to Volta Catch Tilapia. That's a triple pass.
From one awards to the other, the Managing Director of Total Energies, Olufemi Babajide, has reiterated the company's commitment to support job creation to boost Ghana's economy. According to him, Total Energies will continue to empower young entrepreneurs through its Total Startupper Challenge. He spoke at an award event for some entrepreneurs.
We are inspired as we look back at the impact it has made over the years. Since its inception in 2015, we have witnessed remarkable achievements and milestones. The first edition was in 2015. We had 34 participating countries across Africa, and we had over 24,000 applicants, which resulted in 102 winners across different categories. And we also have 4 Pan-African Grand Prize winners who received personalized support in our head office in France, Paris. And that highlighted the global reach of our initiative. The second edition was in 2018, and this expanded from 34 countries to 55 countries worldwide, with a significant portion of applicants coming from African nations. There were 165 winners for the second edition, and that included 6 grand prize recipients. We celebrated the diversity and ingenuity of African entrepreneurship.
And more stories we have lined up for you. These are the President and the Chief Executive of the Society for Human Resource Management, John Taylor Jr., is calling on policymakers in Africa to develop educational frameworks which will prepare the next generation for the evolving job market. He stressed that with the advent of emerging technology, educational reforms will be needed to make the youth employable. He spoke at the 2024 Global Conference on Human Resource here in Africa.
Expected to revolutionize human resources by increasing efficiency, enhancing decision-making, and boosting employee engagement. Its socio-economic impact will be felt through a more inclusive job market and the necessity for new skills and ethical standards. In light of this, the Global Conference on Human Resources Africa hosted industry leaders and professionals for a 2-day immersive event to discuss the future of work in Africa. John Taylor Jr., President and Chief Executive of the Society for Human Resource Management, stressed the need to retain Africa's youth to take advantage of future job opportunities.
A young, increasingly educated workforce. Africa has it in volumes. By 2050, we expect that you'll be 2.5 billion people, the largest population on the planet. And so using that, all you need to do is take those young people, a ton of them, educate them on the use of AI, embracing AI, and my gosh, you'll be unstoppable on the planet.
Dr. Francis Eduku, CEO of the Chartered Institute of Human Resource Management, bemoaned the lack of human capital development in Africa.
We seem to shift the focus as to what our priorities are. For me, our priorities are the human capital. And when we talk of the human capital, if we are going to be the golden population in 2030, whereby about 70% of the African workforce will be the youngest in the world, why don't you start training them? So for me, it's about, we've not trained them. We talk about school, education, and others. But we've not prioritized human capital development on the continent.
Rita Kusi, team lead at the Global Conference on Human Resources for Africa, detailed the rationale for the program.
It's about exchange of ideas. It's about putting our heads together to try to figure out this new world of work that we find ourselves in. So I think for us, the bigger picture is really empowering Africa's workforce HR is responsible for managing Africa's workforce. So if we can all come together and come up with ideas that will really help move the workforce along, get people employed, that's our sole mission, is to be able to create jobs through GCHRA.
Part company here on Business Life. I am Pius Kujubaka. More stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I leave you with commodities updates.